Hi, this is our winter project, a gift for Judith, and we just let this hang on it's really more of a bulletin board than a design wall, but we let this hang here over the holidays, let it rest, and we've decided we really need to add some more blue and gray to this. So we're going to be editing these long pieces right there. It was just too confusing, and I think this design will be helped by adding a few more pieces of the blue and gray. All right, this is our design. It was folded up and put away for the holidays. And so we're just going to reposition that on the table. And you can decide, if I was just going to be working on one side, I can put this down this way. But I worked with it this way. Sometimes I like my design facing me. It just makes more sense sometimes to us. So I'm just going to position this, and then I'll be able to move it up. But I'm just going to position this so that I can easily reach these pieces from one side of the table. And I'll just use my blue painter's tape to anchor it. Okay, this is the back of our quilt top, and we're just going to position that onto our drawing. We can just look and see that these things line up, and then use a bit of tape. Let's scoot that up just a little bit and make sure that's lining up. We could probably edit these two long pieces without using our working drawing, but I wanted you to see that you can reposition your top to do this in case you need. It might not be as simple as a straight line. We folded under our paper pattern and also tucked our quilt top under our little table here, so we're not going to be stepping on it when we're working in this direction. What we're going to do now is replace this strip of fabric. We placed our pattern pieces close to where we're going to be working, and so I'm just going to pull this up gently, supporting underneath. We don't want to tear the French views. I'm pulling this one up first because it was on top of that one. So I just support the French views underneath and pull these pieces up. See, now you can see the numbers of the pattern underneath. And if you don't have the original patterns, you could always make a drawing like we've shown you in the past with a piece of plastic paper on the top, but we were able to find our pattern pieces. So now we're going to put this one down, and we only have to turn those two sides. So I use my little gluing mat and a fresh glue stick. Don't use your glue stick when it gets too dry or tacky. And then have the paper facing me and just roll that back. You want to match the fabric to the pattern piece and finger press. So do one side at a time. I didn't glue both sides, just one side at a time so you don't get your fingers all sticky. The first gluing is in an outward motion. Follow the paper rules. And finger press. That's all we have to do on this first piece. Sometimes when you're doing pieces in a long line, you often have a little bit of the edge sticking out, and we don't want to do that. So I'm just very narrowly clipping that off. And now I'm ready to do my second gluing. Since that's a turn back edge and reinforced, now I can do the second gluing, gliding it on. And so just to check your placement, so we just put that down there and use our sealing iron to seal that down. Because there is no sewing in this technique, it's very easy to do. Now we have to turn here where it's touching here. It's going to touch there, and those two sides. So I just glue one side of this at a time. Turn it back to match the paper, finger press. Glue in an outward motion for the first gluing. See, just turning one edge at a time so you don't get your fingers all sticky. And now when I folded this back, you see I have a little dog ear sticking out, so I don't want that. I don't want any raw edges showing, so I'm just pulling that away and just going to take a little clip off of that. So now I'm ready for the second gluing. I did all that before I do the second gluing. Now I can glue all these edges at one time. Because the edge is a turn back edge that reinforces it. Now the second time you can glide the glue along the edge and then seal it down. And that's the way we're going to proceed for this whole row. We'll do these 4 pieces, and then we'll do these on this side, and then we'll move the whole thing up. But I wanted to show you, we also wanted to change this fabric here. I don't know that it's necessary. It looks okay, but we were rotating this one particular fabric and I got confused. So to do this edge piece, I don't have to take off that whole row, but I need to loosen this side. So I'm just going to loosen that down here a little bit more. I'll have to pop that up a little bit. I actually have put this on top of that, so I have to just loosen that. Ah, there it is. All these black and white fabrics, it was hard for me to find the edge of that particular thing. Boy, I really put a lot of glue on that one, but I'm just going to pull that up. See? Pull that out of the way, and then I'm going to hold on to this French fuse and just gently pull that up. You have to support the French fuse. You don't want to tear it. You just gently pull it off. Okay, and now we're going to just tuck that piece under there. We have the edge already for where all those pieces are joined. So what I can do is just, that's a turned edge under there too. So I'm just going to glue here and here and then seal it all down. So I'm just putting glue on this way. I'm not turning anything. This was one of the first pieces we put down. Unfortunately, we put the wrong piece down. So I'm lifting that up. Just like that. I don't have to pull the whole thing up. But I do want to, see, I can use the edge here for that. And then we have the edge of those pieces that we know that butt up right next to there. So we're just going to place that in there, just like that, and then I'm going to glue that piece down. I did already put glue there, so it should be fine. And then seal it all down. Let your iron do the work to make sure that it is sealed down, because the French fuse is the foundation that we build all of our quilts on. This French fuse foundation. All right, after we have sealed this piece down, then I'm using my sewer stiletto to slide under the freezer paper just to remove that. And then I always like to just seal it down again. We're on the home stretch of editing this quilt for Judith, and I just wanted to show you that we gave up using the paper underneath. We decided that since this was just a straight strip that we're removing, that we really didn't need to have the paper underneath. There was no need to do that. So I'm just repositioning it so it's on my table. And today there's a lot of humidity in the air, and my blue tape has not been sticking it especially well, but the weight now of the quilt is helping to hold it onto the table. And then you can always take a mat or something just to, so it's not going to slide around. But I may save these strips we're taking off for a future project. In this little banner here, in my stained glass window, it says welcome. We're not going to put welcome on this quilt, this lap quilt, but we are going to use the words peace and joy. And that will be one of the videos that we'll make after we have stitched and quilted this. That area right there, we're going to do free motion quilting to do our lettering through all of the layers. Thanks for watching today. This is the new year, 2018. We're happy you've joined us, and we look forward to making more videos for you.